Okay, today we are diving into a totally fascinating piece of writing called The Architecture of Resonance, Healing Through Systemic Coherence. This one absolutely challenges us to completely rethink the human body. We're going to explore this concept of coherence, and, not just as some dry academic scientific term, but as literally the invisible skeleton of life itself. Think of it as the living pulse, the silent architecture that actually allows health, function, and form to just emerge from endless potential.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. We're starting off with the architecture of coherence. Then we'll move into the science of the heart, explore the power of entrainment, look at cultivating daily resonance, and finally wrap up with remembering the original song.
All right, section 1, the architecture of coherence, the living orchestra. Let's get right into it. So instead of looking at the human body as this, clunky machine made of isolated separate parts, I want you to imagine it as an incredibly complex, beautifully tuned orchestra. Coherence within the human body is defined as the harmonious synchronization of energetic, electrical, and vibrational systems operating in mutual resonance. Now, this isn't just poetry or some nice metaphor, right? It's a measurable physiological reality. It means your brain, your heart, your nervous system, your subtle fields, they aren't fighting each other. They are operating completely together. They amplify and stabilize one another rather than pulling apart. According to our source material, this resonant order is literally what binds electrons into atoms, atoms into molecules, and cells into the radiant architecture of a living being. How wild is that? Think about the fundamental difference between noise and music. Noise is just chaotic. It's fragmented. It literally can't sustain complexity or growth, and ultimately, it just pulls our systems into dissonance. But music in our biology is a harmonious, self-reinforcing pattern. It is synchronized. It amplifies our systems, so the dance of life can actually persist across all scales of magnitude. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between disease and health. The source makes it absolutely clear. Without coherence, biology is just noise. But with it, we get the music of life. Moving right along to section 2, Science of the Heart, Electromagnetic Engine. We are so incredibly used to treating our hearts like clunky little water pumps, just pushing blood around the body. But HeartMath Institute research reveals something so much deeper. The human heart is not merely a mechanical pump, but a complex electromagnetic organ whose fields of coherence profoundly influence the entire organism. It's actually a powerful electromagnetic generator. It radiates fields that quite literally dictate the functioning of your entire being. And this is exactly where the rubber meets the road physiologically. When the heart is driven by stress or fear or anger, it creates erratic rhythms. And what happens? We get chaotic brainwaves, dysregulated hormones, and faltering immunity. Basically, our capacity for healing actively diminishes. But on the flip side, when it's driven by gratitude, compassion, or love, those coherent rhythms literally synchronize your brainwaves and activate cellular repair. So healing isn't just a bunch of random chemical reactions. It is the flowering of systemic coherence across our physical domains. That brings us to section 3, the power of entrainment, shared resonance. And what's really interesting here is how coherence doesn't actually stay trapped inside our own bodies, right? So it happens in 3 distinct steps. Step 1, your heart generates a coherent frequency. Step 2, that electromagnetic field physically extends outward into your environment. And step 3, dissonant systems nearby actually begin to reattune to it. Think of it exactly like a tuning fork. If you have a tuning fork vibrating at a specific frequency and you bring a second tuning fork close to it, well, that second one is going to begin to vibrate sympathetically. Coherent heart fields do the exact same thing to the fields of other people nearby. You are quite literally creating a zone of shared resonance that amplifies healing potentials for everyone around you. Which brings us to this incredibly powerful central statement from the text. Healing happens not through force, but through invitation. I really want you to take that in for a second. It's such a beautiful, deeply empathetic concept. A centered, loving individual doesn't have to go around forcefully combating symptoms. They just offer a coherent field. And when a fragmented, chaotic system encounters that field, it's essentially invited to relax, reattune, and spontaneously reorganize itself into health. The source points out that this principle of entrainment is absolutely fundamental to biology, psychology, and even the weaving of our social and ecological systems. Let's look at how we apply this in section 4, daily resonance, actionable harmony. So how do we actually put this into practice? Because generating this healing field isn't just some one-off event you do in a clinic, right? It is a daily, moment-to-moment practice. We can actively amplify our coherence through techniques like coherent breathing, heart-focused meditation, vibrational therapies, sound healing, and focused intention. By engaging in these practices, you literally become a living beacon of ordered resonance. You amplify coherence within yourself, which effectively creates a center of gravity around which disorder can just reorganize itself into health.
But hey, it's not just about meditation. This is the sacred work of every single moment. We are constantly choosing between reinforcing coherence through acts of kindness and rising into hope, or degrading it through cruelty and the indulgence in despair. Every choice you make, the way you speak, every single breath, and every thought is tuning your instrument. Are you adding to the music, or are you just creating more noise? Because every single act sends ripples through the field.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, the original song, a tuning of self. This brings us to a stunning realization about healing. The text says, healing is not about doing, but about remembering the original song, the falling away of the noise. This is a total paradigm shift. Coherence isn't some foreign object we have to forcefully acquire or build from scratch. Actually, scratch that. It's more like it is our natural state when we simply allow ourselves to align with the deep structures of the universe. Healing is just letting the obscuring noise fall away so what has already always been true can shine through. Think about your own vibrational architecture for a second. Your heart is an instrument of entrainment. Your mind is a transmitter of patterns. And your body? It's the bridge between the local and the infinite. Every breath is a chance to step back into coherence. Every thought is a seed planted right in the garden of resonance. You are, quite literally, biologically and energetically woven from resonances, and you are built to broadcast harmony.
So I have to ask you this direct and maybe slightly provocative question. Are you broadcasting music, or are you broadcasting noise? Really, take a second to think about that. Based on everything we've unpacked today, what is your daily electromagnetic output? What kind of field are you inviting other people into when they simply stand next to you?
Healing happens when the noise gives way to the song. Healing happens when the field remembers itself through you. When that luminous, eternal coherence rises again, you recognize yourself once more as a living note in the endless singing universe. Keep that resonance with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep broadcasting the music.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Quantum Healing Codes, Unlock the New Science of Self-Rejuvenation. This isn't theory, it's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.